Here's to hoping this video isn't as long as my other videos. When it comes to the Jawbreakers, they had a rather short history. Let's break it down. The Jawbreakers would kick things off in 2016, where their original 4 members would be Candy, Tidbit, Mouthful, and Tongue Twister. The team would show some signs of life with a silver in relay race, another silver in collision, and a solid 4th place in sand relay set by Candy. The rest of the year would not be as spectacular, including 0 points in the final 3 events, and as a result, they would finish 7th overall, which is decent for their first year. As for 2017, the Jawbreakers would go through quite the roster change. There would be conflictions going on between Candy and their teammates. Candy's teammates didn't appreciate their bossiness, which would lead to Tidbit, Tongue Twister, and Mouthful leaving the team. As for Candy themselves, they would go on to recruit Taffy, Sweet, and Sugar to join the team. They didn't really do a lot in the 2017 qualifiers, but thanks to a first place in the sand race set by Sugar, the team would do enough just to qualify. As for how the team would do in 2017, they weren't really bad, they were more so mediocre, with their lowest finish being 13th and the highest finish being 4th, and a bunch of middle of the pack to below average finishes. The Jawbreakers would finish in 13th overall without acquiring a single medal. Heading into 2018, the Jawbreakers would bring back Tidbit as the team's reserve. In terms of how the 2018 qualifiers would go for them, they would finish in the middle of the pack for the first 3 events. Still, they would be in decent position for qualifying. Unfortunately, the team would end up faltering in half-pipe, finishing in 7th out of 8 for their group. And because of this, the Jawbreakers would miss out on the 2018 Marble League. However, they would compete in the consolation race consisting of most of the teams that didn't qualify as well. As for how it would go, they would lose their sand powers and Taffy would finish 11th out of 11 marbles. The 100-meter water race didn't go any better for them as Sugar of the Jawbreakers would get stuck in DNF alongside 6 other marbles. And for the Amazing Maze race, they would finish 2nd in their group, but since they didn't finish top 2 in the runner-up standings, they would be eliminated and would finish 10th out of 24 teams, which is decent. In terms of how this team would do in the 2019 qualifiers, it would be very bad for them. Out of the 4 qualifying events, their best finish would be a 12th in block pushing. The other 3 events would consist of 14th, 15th, and 16th, and as a result, they would finish 17th in the qualifiers and would have to compete in the 2019 showdown. As for how they would do in the 2019 showdown, it would get off to a pretty good start with Candy taking gold in Sand Rally. The other 3 events wouldn't go as good for them, 2 8th place finishes and a 9th, but thanks to that gold mostly, they would finish in 5th overall as a result and would qualify for the 2020 qualifiers. And for how they would do there, if you thought their 2019 qualifiers performance was bad, look at their 2020 qualifiers performance. Despite Candy doing really well with the 4th place finish in funnel endurance, the other 3 events would be atrocious for the Jawbreakers. 14th in balancing, 17th in block pushing, and another 17th in the 5-meter sprint. Because of this, the Jawbreakers would finish in 18th out of 20 teams and would not even come close to qualifying. They would take whatever talents they had remaining to the 2020 showdown. And much like the qualifiers, they would have 1 good event and 3 atrocious other ones. Taffy and Tidbit did their part in the black hole funnel, but the team was disastrous in both the half-pipe and the relay race. Their 2020 showdown would end with Candy taking 11th out of 12th in the sand mogul race. And as a result, the Jawbreakers would finish in last overall. And prior to the 2021 qualifiers, the Jawbreakers would end up retiring in favor of the Gliding Glaciers, who have done a better job in their place. They would at least get to compete in the 2021 practice race, where the representative Candy would finish between middle of the pack and below average and would finish 18th out of 28 marbles. There would be something called Marble Indy 500 that would come up, and the Jawbreakers would make their return. Their representative would be their captain, Candy, and they would do pretty solid in qualifiers, qualifying at 13th out of 33 marbles. They would finish ahead of some notable names like Speedy, Clutter, Cerulean, Rima, and Red Eye. As for how the actual race would go for Candy, they would stumble around in the middle of the pack, having some good and bad moments, but as a result, they would finish in 18th overall, just like in their 2021 practice race. And that'll wrap it up here. Just wanted to make a quick video on the Jawbreakers. If Thank you, Meerkat, for suggesting this video idea. I'll look back to see what other kind of Marble videos I can do. I might do one for the Marble League 2025 qualifiers, I might not, but who knows. But besides that, I'll just sit back and chill. Peace.